Ever wonder why some people just seem to repel others without even trying? Or why do certain individuals leave you feeling drained and wanting distance? Well, it might be due to certain traits they're exhibiting that are big-time people repellents. Curious to know what these traits are, and possibly spot if you're unconsciously exhibiting any of them? Stay tuned to find out. And hey, if you find this video enlightening, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content like this. So, let's jump right in. Number 1. Arrogance. This trait can really be a social repellent. You know, there's something inherently off-putting about individuals who believe they're the best thing since sliced bread. Arrogant people have this knack for making everything about them. They'll walk into a room and instantly want the spotlight, disregarding anyone else's moment. It's not just about having self-confidence, it's the exaggerated self-importance they place on their opinions and achievements, expecting everyone else to feel the same. This attitude doesn't just bubble up in personal settings, but in professional ones too. Studies show that arrogant people are often seen as less competent than they think they are. They're the teammates who refuse feedback, thinking they're above it, which can be a real teamwork downer. Number 2. Dishonesty. When someone lies, it's like they're pulling the rug out from under you, leaving you to question not just their words, but their character. And it's not always the big lies that hurt the most. Even little white lies can accumulate, turning a once solid relationship into a shaky one. The worst part? Once trust is broken, it's incredibly hard to rebuild. It's like trying to fix a mirror. You might glue it back together, but the cracks are still visible. Psychologists affirm that trust is fundamental to healthy relationships, and that deceit can lead to a cycle of suspicion that's hard to break. Dishonesty doesn't just hurt the person being lied to, it also harms the liar. Number 3. Negativity. Have you ever noticed how being around a negative person feels like they're sapping your energy? That's because they are. It's exhausting to be around someone who sees a problem in every solution rather than the other way around. They focus on what's wrong, rarely on what's right, and it's a mindset that can spread like wildfire. Before you know it, their pessimism has dampened the group's mood. But it's more than just a downer. Consistent negativity can have real health impacts too. Research indicates that persistent pessimists can be more prone to stress and depression. Plus, negativity can affect one's overall life satisfaction. Constantly focusing on the bad stuff, it makes you miss out on the good. Number 4. Passive aggressiveness. Alright, let's talk about passive aggressiveness. It's a real communication killer. You've likely experienced it. Someone agrees to something reluctantly, then avoids it or does the task poorly, or they give you the silent treatment instead of explaining what's wrong. It's frustrating because you feel something's off, but you can't put your finger on it. This behaviour is not just annoying, it's destructive. Studies show that passive-aggressive environments can significantly reduce workplace productivity and morale. Why? Because it's a barrier to honest dialogue. It's a way of expressing negative feelings without confronting them head-on, leading to unresolved issues and lingering resentment. Number 5. Selfishness. Have you ever tried to share a story with someone who turns it back to themselves before you even finish? That's a classic move of a selfish person. They struggle to share success in spotlight, believing their needs always come first. This attitude can poison various aspects of life. In relationships, it can lead to one-sidedness, where one person feels overlooked. At work, selfish individuals may take credit for joint efforts, breeding resentment among colleagues. In friendships, they turn into support systems for them. With no reciprocity, research shows that selfishness can limit one's ability to form healthy, long-term relationships. Number 6. Unreliability. Next, we tackle unreliability, the infamous promise breaker. You know the type, always full of assurances, yet when it comes to deliver, they're nowhere to be found. It's like planning a road trip with someone who never shows up at the departure point. This inconsistency doesn't just cause practical issues, it seeps into the emotional realm. When someone is unreliable, it sends a message. They don't value your time or your trust. It's more than just flakiness, it's a lack of respect. According to psychology, reliability is a cornerstone of trust, and without it, it's challenging to build or maintain any relationship, whether personal or professional. Number 7. Lack of empathy. It's a tough spot when someone can't grasp the simple nuances of human emotion, isn't it? This isn't just about not being a shoulder to cry on, it's an inability to understand or share the feelings of others. It's like sharing your deepest fears with someone and getting a heartless "so" in response. This lack of empathy is a deal breaker in relationships. Research in psychology highlights empathy as the glue that holds relationships together, promoting bonding and reducing conflict. Without it, connections can be superficial and short-lived, because empathy is what allows us to comfort others in times of distress, celebrate in times of joy, and offer genuine support that deepens bonds. Number 8. Inflexibility. You know those people who won't change their minds even when faced with new information? They treat their routines and opinions as though they were written in stone. This rigidity isn't just frustrating, it hinders growth and progress. Think about it. Innovation comes from being open to new ideas, right? Well, inflexibility squashes this. It can stifle personal development. And in a group setting, it can halt progress entirely. The workplace especially suffers from this trait, as teams need to adapt and evolve to succeed. Studies show that flexible thinking is associated with problem solving and resilience. Number 9. Constant complaining. And now, constant complaining. These individuals can spot a flaw in every situation, and boy, do they love to talk about it. It's more than just annoying, it's draining. Being around perpetual negativity can take a toll on your mood and outlook. Science backs this up. Research indicates that constant exposure to negativity can actually change the way your brain operates, leading to increased stress and difficulty in experiencing joy and contentment. Plus, it's contagious. Ever notice how one person's complaining can set off a chain reaction in a group? It's because emotions can synchronize in social settings. Number 10. Passive nature. Let's talk about passiveness. It's like playing a game of catch with someone who never throws the ball back. They agree to play, but you end up doing all the throwing while they barely manage a weak toss. This behaviour extends to all aspects of life: decision-making, problem-solving, even daily conversations. Passive folks don't necessarily cause trouble, but they don't contribute much either. Their hesitance to express opinions or make decisions can be particularly detrimental in group settings. Did you know, for instance, that group dynamics theories often stress the importance of active participation? Yes, every member's input is crucial for collective success. Number 11. Intolerance. Now, on to intolerance. This trait can be as limiting as walking through a vast landscape with a narrow viewfinder. There's a whole wide world of diverse views and experiences out there, but intolerant individuals see just a sliver. Their refusal to acknowledge or respect differing viewpoints can create a tense, exclusive environment. This behaviour isn't just socially detrimental, it's professionally limiting as well. In our globalised world, cultural intelligence, the ability to relate and work effectively across cultures, is highly prized. Studies in social psychology consistently show that diversity enhances creativity, problem solving, and decision making in organisational settings. Number 12. Constant need for attention. Finally, we tackle those with a constant need for attention. Picture someone who treats every interaction like a Broadway show, and they're the star every time. This constant need to be in the limelight often comes at the expense of others. They're not just sharing a story, they're overshadowing everyone else's. It's exhausting, right? Beyond social fatigue, this behaviour can signal deeper psychological needs. According to experts in behavioural psychology, incessant attention seeking might stem from low self-esteem or feelings of inadequacy. The spotlight offers them validation. Recognizing these traits is the first step towards understanding the dynamics of our social circles and improving our interpersonal skills. It's not about pointing fingers, but reflecting and growing. If you found this insight helpful, make sure to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, keep growing and building positive connections.